That's what we got. All right, the levels is good. The levels is good. The levels is good. What a boy.
Okay. Big man, you wanna hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Yo, dígame. You kidding me or what, man? I got these 3 drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like and you subscribe. Listen, like, and subscribe, yeah. You know how to call into the show? Yeah, man, do the Podbean app. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a take faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only 3 things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody. MyT Sports Season 7.
Oh shit! It's finally that time. Let's go ahead and raise the curtain so we can get into what we do here. A good evening and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am your host, the one knowing Untitled Chapter. It is another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. Big. It is February 18th. You see my sugars popping up in the building. She's always coming up around the corner. She be coming around the corner when she comes. You be coming in the corner when she comes. You be coming in the corner.
He calls me sugars, but he treats me like shit, guys.
Whatever. You know what they say. You attract more flies with sugar than you do with shit. Yeah, that's why I flew into your life.
Back at it like a sports fanatic.
Yo, back at it like a sports fanatic. This is season 7, episode 65, excerpt 398 of the MyT Sports Podcast. We got a big show for you tonight on February 18th. Folks, we got to talk about the Knicks and them sucking. We got to talk about Luka lighting it up. We got WWE Hall of Fame to get into. We got AD being injured, Embiid being on an MVP performance, Tom Thibodeau and his future being questioned. We talk about fuck them picks, NBC bidding All-Star break, Stafford breaks the spine of a racist, and more, folks. All of that on the MyT Sports Podcast. Yes, said it. But you know what we say here on the MyT Sports Podcast, regardless of the time.
Take that.
And regardless of the weather.
You play to win the game. Hello?
And regardless if you just woke up from a nap and you're tired as fucking kind of delusional.
You play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time for us to talk some sports because
you play to win the game. Hello?
I am, but
you play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time to talk some sports. Hey, yo, Ric Flair, woo! Back at it like a sports fanatic. MyT Sports. Ooh, yeah. I can feel my blood boiling. I ain't gonna lie. I came in, I was like, yo, I'm gonna give you guys a half an hour podcast. You officially worked yourself up to an hour. Yo, babe, it's a long day. As you can see, the eyes already glossy. You know what I mean? I had a little bit of happy hour in me. Your boy came in a little tingly. I was off the tank.
He came and picked me up from work late.
I was out there drinking. I picked up my girl late and shit. Like, you understand? Like she was all vexed. She started popping her attitude. She almost got kicked out the whip. Like, all kinds of shit. You know what I understand? Like, I almost had to ghost ride the whip. We almost was ghost riding the whip. You understand? Like, we was pulling boots. We had Captain Saver hose from hose. You understand? Everything was going. Yo. It was a big night. You understand? Got the locks going and everything. You know what I'm saying? What was going on?
He's psycho and he's hard to deal with. Someone really needs to, get him a professional doctor because the VA doctors are bullshit. Let's talk some sports.
Nah, I'm just joking. I wasn't saying anything. You guys over here looking at me, seeing all the mouth moving and shit. Like, yo, I see this nigga mouth moving, but I don't hear shit going on. I was just fucking with you guys. You understand? Because that's what happens. Hey, I ain't coming out. I understand. So, I got no birthday. I got no birthday shout outs for you guys. Again, 2 days in a row. Because,
shut down production.
Because to be honest with you, like, fuck everybody's birthday this week. That wasn't on February 14th. Because I have 2 cousins. What's going on, Boogie Nights? Boogie Oogie Oogie. It's electric. Boogie Oogie Oogie. Oogie Oogie Oogie. Oogie Oogie Oogie.
Oh, baby, your eyes are brown.
My eyes are brown? They should be red. That means I'm sober. They should be red.
Okay.
They should be red all day. Oh shit! Look, we got Boogie calling into the podcast.
Yo, what do you do, Holmes?
We about to find out. I don't know. What's going on, Boogie? Welcome to the MyT Sports Podcast. I see you calling in. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Just coming to you live from the Red Clip Studio, having a great Friday night.
Ah, that's what's up. We having a great Friday night as well. Not only are we potted, we over here checking out this All-Star game as well. You came to talk some sports with us?
I'll talk some old school sports, and I'll throw some comedy in about, things and this and that. I'm with you.
That's what's up. Let's get some basic foundation started off there. What's your favorite team?
My favorite, which team? What sport?
Well, you know what? We're in basketball season. Let's keep it basketball for right now.
I'm not a basketball. None.
Oh, okay. So then, what is your favorite team?
Football. Colts.
Indianapolis Colts. I used to live in Indianapolis for a while. It snows by Thanksgiving every single year.
Nice. Gotta love Indianapolis.
It is a nice little town. I was there when Peyton Manning was still running the town. When he was still the sheriff of and running that show.
Absolutely. He's laser rocket on, baby. He's not the greatest.
I'm sorry? He's not the greatest?
He's not the greatest. He's second best, in my opinion. And I hate to say that, but Mr. Our boy from the Patriots, he is defined by stats.
Yeah, we hate to say it here on the podcast, too. I mean, but, you know what? There is one.
I'm a Peyton Manning for life, 100%. When he retired from the Colts and went on, I went out and bought all his jerseys, and I still got them in my closet.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, 100%.
Listen. I highly respect. I highly respect Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning, even though he's not going to be considered the greatest quarterback out there, he is definitely one of the greatest, and his preparation is probably second to none. It was one thing. I
think as the leader of the team. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. As a leader of the team, he's almost second. I remember Peyton Manning. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
As a leader of his team, and his team, Dallas Clark was one of the greatest. I mean, that team that they had together, and this is old. I'm an old sports guy. And behind his coach going through all the things that he's gone through in his life and doing it. And still
put that down.
Yeah. It could have been his son and been like, all right, Dad, you just step back. I'm going to take care of shit. Don't worry about nothing. You do you. We'll get it taken care of. That's
No, go away. Go away.
So mad respect. And then you had Andrew Luck. That dude, everybody gave him shit for folding under pressure. He was great. And then he had his own shit going on, man. Couldn't take the fucking pressure. Pardon my language.
No, it's okay. Language is okay.
But, I mean, but that, as far as sports go, that's baseball, I mean, I'm old school baseball. I hate the fact that, they're putting asterisks beside people and this and that. We could go into history. I gave up on sports for the most part. I'm about to get back into hockey. Because that's the only one that hasn't reported a bunch of rapists and drug dealers.
At least not yet. Or at least they haven't reported up that we care. But listen, like.
No, it's going on, but nobody's got busted yet.
It's baseball. So when it comes to baseball, do you believe that individuals like Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Alex Rodriguez belong in the Hall of Fame?
They do, absolutely, 100%. 100%. Because it's just, they've changed the laws. And so you're allowed to be juiced up now, but you weren't then. And it's just like sending somebody to jail for a life sentence for having a pound of weed when now it's fucking legal.
But
and
in that
asshole
in that same sense, though, I mean, if you got busted for weed before it was legal, then you committed an illegal act. And I understand you may not agree with it, but you still deserve that charge. You were doing something that was illegal.
Right, but it's just like
you shouldn't be rewarded for doing illegal shit.
You know, it's okay now, but it's not okay then. It's trash. It's absolute trash. It's a complete breakdown, and I'm gonna call it the legal and whoever officiates, who's allowed to be in and out, and puts the asterisks on it. I mean, what's good for the geese isn't good. What's good for the goose isn't good for the gander. I mean, come on. Let's take it down to brass tacks, man. Forgive and forget. I mean, it's just like Pete Rose. He was betting against his own team. He didn't throw it. We go back all the way back to the 1919 World Series, the Black Sox.
They even with Pete Rose, they had to make an example out of it. Like, Pete Rose is the ultimate. We had to make an example out of him.
There's always an example.
Like you have
100%.
And that probably what sucks out of everything. Like, okay, at some point in time, somebody's got to be made an example out of. And they're not gonna make an example out of Joe Nobody. They're gonna make an example out of most famous face and most famous name.
Right. 100%.
So
that's what's unfortunate. It's just...
No, that's the biggest unfortunate part, because even for the reasons why we're not allowing Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire into the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds.
Sosa,
the reasons why we're not letting
but
the reason why we're not letting them into the Hall of Fame is not so much that they took steroids, right? It was the fact that those were three of the most famous names on that list of like 150 something people that were taking steroids. Like, you notice, like, the pitcher that they thought was gonna last in the league for 2 years, they didn't care. The guy that basically he came up for one good year and then he fizzled out, and they don't care about those guys. But the people on Hall of Fame trajectories, they were like, oh, wait a minute, you guys on Hall of Fame trajectories are cheating the sport. I don't know if we can let this slide, because you know what? Because they would have mattered.
Yeah, but back in the day, who wasn't cheating in sports? I mean,
but see, I understand. That's only okay until it becomes. See, you're right, but once something becomes illegal, it's illegal, and you can't go back. So,
right, but then
for the people that
illegal, I mean, even
so once it becomes illegal, you can't do it You can't do it anymore. At one point in time in this great country of ours, in the 1600s, it was okay for grown ass men to fuck little girls. At some point in time, it became illegal.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You understand? So once you had to, I know, it's far left. It's far left. I have to go. Listen,
yeah. It's funny as fuck, and I agree.
Like it's super far. Yeah, it's super far left.
As a 44-year-old man.
Yeah, and listen,
that ain't right.
And it was okay. It was like, you know what? You want to marry my 16-year-old daughter? Not only would I give you my daughter, I'll give you some sheep for it too. Shit. Like, take her off my hand. She's a burden.
Take the stone, he's just an ass.
And you know what I mean? So I only go far left to say, like, I get what you say. Like, it's one of those arbitrary things. Like because I can't use the weed law because the weed law like that shit is way too ridiculous, and the weed law helps you out too much. But to go far left, like once they had to say, okay, guys, we're no longer allowing this substance. You guys need to stop. If you don't stop, there's going to be consequences. And they did it afterwards.
30 days to be clean and
then we have a problem.
Like
but
I'm gonna
tell you this.
Find another way.
I don't believe that people that take I don't believe athletes that take steroids should be allowed to play in the same season they get caught with steroids.
Well, you remember where it all began was creatine.
Yes.
When I was in high school.
I remember. Listen, everybody was taking creatine. Listen, man, we were drinking creatine like it was Nestle Quick.
I was playing football, and I was, getting jacked in the fucking gym.
Oh yeah, mixing up creatine like it was Kool-Aid.
80 pounds of pure power. I'm not even joking, man.
That's an oxymoron if I never heard it. 80 pounds of power. Power!
280 pounds.
Oh, 280. My bad. I thought you said 80 pounds of power. That's why I was like, I was like 80 pounds of power. Like that's how my niece feels right now at 10.
80 pounds, baby. I'm a midget.
Of pow, power.
Imagine a midget playing, small people. So,
I don't even know what we're allowed to call them anymore. You understand? I just call them the vertically challenged. And then if that joke goes above their head, then they could get upset about it. You know.
Imagine them doing CrossFit. They're just
God.
Regular tires.
See.
Over regular.
So.
A regular hammer, and a regular tire.
This, like they have a bike in the tube, beating that.
Throwing one of them regular red bricks.
Instead of touching your toes, like, okay, can you kick up your feet and kick yourself in the head? Like, you know what? Wee Man should have never did that shit. No.
We're getting a little.
Yeah, we
might get shut down.
Listen. But shout out to Jackass coming out with a new movie, right?
Yeah, 100%. We man.
Yeah, exactly. They're coming out with a new movie, and I still can't believe they're out there taking those lumps.
Talk to us.
I'm sorry.
Don't sue me because I don't have a comma in my bank account. So if you try to sue me, you're not getting money anyway. Have a great day.
Like I have hyphens in my bank account, no commas, just hyphens, and and they're color coded. Oh man,
this is what the world's about, man.
It really is.
Having a good time.
So right now, right, as I do for most podcasts, I always have some kind of sporting event on in the background. There's not a lot of sports. There's not a lot of sports on right now. So as it currently stands right now, we are watching the Rising Star Challenge. Is it the Rising Star Challenge? Yeah, we're watching the Rising Star Challenge between all of the rookies, all of the rookies and sophomores broken down into American and international teams. Right now they're on a commercial, but we'll go ahead and keep you guys updated on that as well as I'm watching Cole Anthony get excited. And as you know, Cole Anthony, he's going to be participating in the slam dunk contest. And if you guys are old school heads, you may recognize Cole Anthony from his father that used to play for the New York Knicks, Greg Anthony. There's a guy.
Oh, hey, Michael Jordan turned 59 today.
Is he 59 today? There's a lot of birthdays this week. There's a couple of happy birthday to him. Definitely happy birthday to Michael Jordan. The guy that helped televise that really helped televise this era of basketball and allow the athletes today to load, manage, and talking about that they want to change teams every year because they can't win. You know what's so funny, man? We here on the podcast for years. When I say for years, the fuck?
Oh, man. Somebody's calling, man.
Oh.
Probably the White House. No. We're getting sued. I told you, we're getting sued.
Jessica's calling. So, for years here on the podcast, due to his inability to come through on the clutch, right? Or come through in the clutch, we have been holding James Harden highly accountable. And I find it funny that just this year, because he's finally changed teams twice now in one calendar year, right? Or one full year. That they're like, oh, James Harden now has to win one. James Harden now has to win. James Harden has been the arrow for us for years. We've been called him Mr.
You have failed this city.
Because that's all he has done for year after year after year after year. You understand? James Harden is the only guy that I know that they want to talk about him being an MVP for almost putting up a triple-double when there's actually guys in the league putting up triple-doubles. Like, I never understood that. It's like, oh, James Harden, he should be an MVP candidate. He's doing this, he's doing that. He's almost averaging a triple-double. But there were guys in the league averaging a triple-double. And I don't get why he should have been an MVP. I understand a lot of things about James Harden's career, right? I really, really don't, right? Like, I don't understand how he's able to get away with that with that travel of his.
Guy? He plays for the Cavaliers.
Who are we talking about? For the Cavaliers?
No, the guy you're talking about.
The guy I'm talking about, James Harden. James Harden used to play for. Well, James Harden. You guys, if you're half familiar with basketball, James Harden used to play for the Oklahoma City Thunder years ago, back with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook when they played, and they even made it to an NBA championship when they came across the Miami Heat, back when the Heat had the Heatles and the Big Three with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, and they ended up losing to that squad. After leaving the Oklahoma City Thunder, James Harden went to the Houston Rockets, where he decided to
You have failed this city.
for about 7 straight years before he finally got upset, and then just last year he got himself traded to the Brooklyn Nets so that he could play alongside Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. But just like Houston, James Harden decided that he also wanted to.
You have failed this city.
And he left Brooklyn because shit was too rough for him. And, only a rose can grow in Brooklyn. And he left Brooklyn to go play for the Philadelphia 76ers. And we basically swapped babies. Basically the Brooklyn.
Back in the day, 76ers had Karl Malone, right?
No, 76ers, back in the day, their 3 biggest stars to date, Charles Barkley, Dr. J, and Allen Iverson, are their 3 big. If anybody knows 3 bigger stars in Philadelphia, the 76ers history than those 3 guys, let me know. But the 3 biggest stars that I know to Philadelphia 76ers to date is Dr. J, Charles Barkley, and Allen Iverson. And right now,
I just know
Joel Embiid. Charles Barkley, he used to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. Then later on in his career, played for the Phoenix Suns and also the Houston Rockets.
Yeah. And Phoenix Suns also had, no, I was thinking Utah Jazz. Sorry.
Oh, you over here thinking about damn Karl Malone again. Karl Malone went to Utah. Yeah, he played for Utah Jazz. That's definitely Karl Malone and John Stockton. Which, I'm going to tell you something
John
about.
Stockton. Amazing point guard.
One of the great tough point guards that probably doesn't get spoken enough from that era. But if you ask any of those guys from that era about John Stockton, they will tell you he was as tough as anybody got. And also, let us not forget John Stockton for a straight decade. Like people call Chris Paul the point guard, right? But Chris Paul did not average double-digit assists for a straight decade in the NBA. He did not do that. You know who did do that? Mr. John, pull up your Stocktons and let's go to work. Did that. And he is the reason why Karl Malone is the number 2 all-time scorer in NBA history. Because I've said this once on the podcast, I've said this twice on the podcast, and I'm going to say this as many times as LeBron James promised a ring to Miami. So not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. I'm going to say this about 8 times. If it wasn't... Huh?
Make it 9.
Listen, I'll make this the ninth take of the world, okay? If Karl Malone did not have John Stockton, Carmelo Anthony would have already passed him on the all-time scoring list. And There's not anybody in the world that can make me believe anything otherwise. Karl Malone single-handedly passed. John Stockton single-handedly passed Karl Malone all of those points. It's the reason why. Listen, Karl Malone is the second all-time scorer in history. Well, guess what? John Stockton is the number one assist guy in all-time history.
Yeah,
and the guy that benefited from that was Karl Malone. So when John Stockton is out here averaging 15 assists a game, 14 assists a game, 15 assists per game for the whole entire season, 14 assists per game for the whole entire season, 13 assists per game for the whole entire season. Guess who's eating off of that? Big old dump truck Karl Malone, because that's what he was a big old dump truck. They should have called him the garbage man instead of the mailman, because all he did was clean up John Stockton's trash. Yeah, I can take that to whatever bank you want. My New York Knicks, they suck. I have to get this out the way because I'm a Knicks fan, and I don't know how long I'm going to be potting today. Like, I'm supposed to give you 2 hours. I think I'm going to give you 1. I came in here kind of tired, but I'm starting to wake up. The blood is starting to flow. I got the alcohol flowing through me, so it's thinning out. That blood is starting to flow. That means that shit is starting to flow a little bit faster. You understand? The mouth is getting a little bit juicy. Shit is getting a little bit watery. That's on the hair starting to spike. I'm starting to hit my second Saiyan mode. You know what I mean? Like, shit is starting to get real. But the Knicks suck. And they are...
Knicks did suck. Back in the, I don't know how.
No, they didn't suck back in the day. They didn't suck back in the day. And listen, in the era of individuals that you kept on mentioning names in, the Knicks didn't suck then. The Knicks were a beast. Yeah. They had Patrick Ewing, John Starks, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason. They even
Hardaway.
They did not have Hardaway. Tim Hardaway Sr. played for the Golden State Warriors, and then later on came to the Miami Heat, and that's when the New York Knicks had beef with him, is when he came down to the Heat. Hey, he had one of the early crossovers that I imitated in the league. Like, his shot off of his crossover was probably one of the first crossover shots I remember imitating, and I hated him. But I hated him so much that he did a move that used to bust my team's ass. And if he can do something that could bust my team's ass, I wanted to be able, like, that's how I felt about my Knicks. If you have a signature move that can bust my Knicks' ass, I want to learn that signature move. Because I knew the New York Knicks and their defense was immaculate. Like, it was one of those things that they held their hat on. They held their hat on. Like, that was basically their prideful portion of the game was their defense. So if you had a move that they just couldn't stop because it was just that damn good, guess what I was doing when I got to the park? Guess what I was doing when I got in the back of the alley? Guess what I was doing when I was alone in the gym? I was practicing that move. Tim Hardaway Jr., one of the earliest crossovers I remember trying to do. And then after that was probably Jordan's fadeaway, which is still difficult to do to this day. If you
we used to emulate and try to just even from the 3-point line. Oh man, that brings back memories.
Because you know what? It wasn't even the
hopping back, trying to swish, and it's I got cards, all the trading cards from back in the day. Jordan dunking the moon.
Oh man, you got some of those old cards. Some of those.
Yeah, man, a collector for life, a sports fan for life, he just kind of gave up on it,
But yeah, like
old school sports.
Yeah, Jordan's fadeaway.
Nowadays, it's
Jordan's fadeaway is so iconic, but it's not even the fadeaway that was so hard. What people don't realize, it wasn't the fadeaway off of the right. It wasn't the fadeaway off of the right block that was hard. It was the fadeaway off of the left block, which people didn't realize, right? Because you're talking about almost a complete 180 spin off of a foot you're not used to pivoting off of.
Yeah. No,
and then keep your core engaged enough and locked in enough that everything still acts like a rubber band. Because if you don't engage everything, then that shot falls short.
Your entire body is like a rubber band, dude.
So
it's
that
like...
So that was probably like the best. That was probably the hardest part of Jordan's game was that weak side wrong foot fadeaway. Because the right foot fadeaway is easy. Like
that,
that's just rhythm. Ooh, as we're seeing Bane.
Yeah.
As we're seeing Desmond.
when you're rolling back and getting away and
But then you know what? After that, things became a whole lot easier with the step back. Yeah. Like, once the step back came in, he was like, you know what? I don't need to fade away anymore. I can step back. And when the step back came into play, he was like, yeah, I got this now. And the step back was crucial. I think it was
momentum forward.
It was Kemba Walker and his step back that made me start to incorporate the step back into my game. And then it was Manny Ginobili and his Euro step that made me incorporate that into my, like, it's so weird. Like, you know what, Boogie, I'm gonna tell you something. I have never broken down before, like, whether loosely, like on purpose or by accident. I have never broken down all of the stars from the past that I decided to put a little piece of their game into what I do to make myself just have moves on the basketball court. But we're talking about Tim Hardaway and Allen Iverson's Allen Iverson's crossover. We're talking about Jordan's fadeaway. We're talking about Ginobili's Euro step. We're talking about Kemba Walker's step back. All of that incorporated into one game. I was a nasty motherfucker on the court. Whew.
Man, I used to play ball way back in the day, and I can't tell you how many elbows I got in the fucking face. Just grabbing that ball, guarding it, I was a guard. I was a point guard. And it just,
See, it wasn't the elbows It wasn't the elbows in the face for me. It was those elbows to the ribs. See, when I played, I always like to play up in competition, right? And one group of competition I always like to play was old heads, right? Because you play a group of old heads, and they don't have the athleticism to beat you, but they have the smarts to beat you. And you just learn, like, okay,
I'm 5'11". I'm 5'11", and I'm playing against dudes that are 6'2", 6'3" at the time. And so I got to get down, get that ball back out to my team, and it's just, all right, I'm getting elbows to the face, not the ribs, because I ain't standing up. I'm jumping, grabbing it, and then, your ribs are my face.
Well,
when I'm in the air, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you how I caught those bodies to the ribs. It's playing old heads and following them off of picks. Yeah. That's how you get elbows to the ribs. Is following people off of picks and being ran off of pick after pick after pick. And when you run off that pick, that old head shoves that little elbow out to catch you in the rib. It's basic, for people to understand. It's like being in a boxing match and they're slowly catching body blows.
100%.
And just catching body blows slowly. Like, that first or second one, you ain't, like, it's nothing. It's nothing. You run through it. But about, like, watch, like, time number 12. You ain't running through it. You are doing everything to avoid it, like you're about to run into the kitchen sink. Like, gotta get around this. And that little bit of movement to get around it is enough space that old head needs to get off his little quick ass shot with that stat where he jumps 2 inches off the floor.
It's just like when I was down there grabbing that ball after, if I'm stealing it or I'm grabbing it off the fucking rebound, I got these motherfuckers towering over me, and I'm just looking around and it's smack while I'm trying to hook it, trying to lay up for the 2 points, And then, but the good thing about that is I would always get the foul. I get the 2 points plus the 1-on-1. It was majestic, I guess.
Keep making it worse.
Good time playing. Way back in the day.
Listen, basketball in the days. Like, you know what? It's about time for me to send a message out to my brother and a couple of the fellas, because I'm only good for about like one good basketball a month, one good game a month now these days, and I'm getting that itch again. It's about that time. It's about that time for us to get back on the court. I gotta make sure I get that Euro step back. Like, I saw the last time I played, and I was not using the Euro step at all. I'm only 5'7".
You 5'7"? Oh man, we would be great together. I'm 5'11". You 5'7". Just dip it down below, toss in the back. Saying, where are you guys broadcasting from?
We were broadcasting live from South Florida.
South Florida. All
Yes.
right, man.
Great,
Awesome.
yeah.
I used to have a place in Fort Myers.
Oh,
I'm currently in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
oh, nice. Fort Wayne. I know exactly where that's at. I know where that's at as well. I've passed by there plenty of times.
Right on, man.
I forgot, what is it called? Damn. Indianapolis, Indiana. They have is it the 495 Speedway or 465 Speedway? Some shit like that?
Yep, 465.
Yeah, that I've told people plenty of a couple times in the past that at 2:00 in the morning, if you ever need to clear your mind, that's a great place to go driving. It's just one big ass circle. You just go until you just drive until you get back to your stop, and then hop right off. Like, seriously.
Ain't nothing around.
There's nothing on the street. Nothing on the street. Like, you could push your car to 120 miles an hour and just go in that full circle and just go. And just go and just get out everything.
You can get as quick as... Oh, man, yeah. You're 100% right, man. I used to have a place down in Terre Haute. Well, but anyway.
Speaking of terrible hoes, right? Let's go back to my New
Terrible
York Knicks.
hoes. No, I said terrible. Plenty of terrible hoes.
No, I want to get back to my New York Knicks. As the New York Knicks, they have another horrible loss. I don't know how else to say it. They have another horrible loss, and I feel that I've been a broken record for 50 games almost, for the majority of 50 games, where the New York Knicks have another pattern where they go up. Now, they're playing the Brooklyn Nets, right, the other night. It was live when we was at Sharky's the other night, Wednesday night. And they're up by 28 points.
New York Nets.
What's that?
Brooklyn Nets or New York Nets?
It's the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, gotcha.
Remember, the Nets moved from Jersey about damn, it's been longer than 5 years. Shit.
That's how
Damn.
far out of the basketball game
Brooklyn has been the Nets have been in Brooklyn for a minute now. I just forgot. They had Paul Pierce at one point. Like, they had Paul Pierce on their team after he left Boston. Yo, Brooklyn has been in New York. I mean, the Nets have been back in New York for
Boston Red Sox.
almost a decade now. What did I say? I said Red Sox? What did I say? Celtics, whatever. Fuck all of Boston. Like, listen. It's listen. It's nothing personal if you have family in Boston. All I mean is that
I'm from New York, and you know what? Tom Brady's a fucking bitch.
Hey, my best friend lives right across the street from Central Park.
But the New York Knicks, they've been losing historically bad as of late. And when I mean historically bad, I've come on here several times a week, and I've told you how the New York Knicks have either lost by 20 points or they've had a 20 plus point lead and they've completely blown that game or blown that lead to lose a game. Well, their last two losses were exactly that. After coming from a win against Portland, you're like, okay, it wasn't nothing to sneeze at. They beat a bad team, but you're like, you know what? If they could get back into the habit of beating these bad teams, at least things could look up slightly. But no, they turn right around, they lose to Oklahoma City, and the whole entire world is being introduced to Josh Giddey. And if you didn't know who Josh Giddey was before that night, then somebody need to do the gritty on your face. Because Josh Giddey, if we're talking about rookies in the league right now, he should be third on your list of rookies. We're talking about Evan Mobley's for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're also talking about what's his name? Damn it, I'm about to forget his name. Don't let me forget your name. His first name may not be Barnes. Scotty Barnes from the Toronto Raptors, and the other one after that, Josh Giddey from the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you haven't seen this guy play, he literally looks like he's playing with his hair on fire. And he's a baller. He's a hooper. Like, he's a straight bucket getter. And Madison Square Garden was introduced to this kid. And if you hadn't seen him before, he did what everybody has been doing this whole entire year, and that is when they got into the mecca of basketball, when they got themselves into the Garden, when they got the lights, cameras, and action of New York City shining on them, they balled the fuck out what like they're supposed to do. But I'm getting tired of hearing about rookies and no-name players ball in New York against my team.
Dennis Rodman.
Ooh, that's a name. That's a name. There isn't a menace. There isn't a menace in the league right now like Dennis. The closest one may be. See, and I don't want to give this dirty player that kind of clout, but maybe Patrick Beverley.
Don't throw him shade.
Patrick Beverley. I throw all kinds of shade at Patrick Beverley. Like Patrick Beverley's a dirty player. I don't know if I want to give him that kind of clout to say he's kind of like Dennis Rodman as far as when it comes to being a menace, because maybe it's just as a menace that Patrick Beverley is. If we're talking about probably defensive IQ and also being matched as a menace, we're probably talking about Draymond Green. Now, and Draymond Green is never gonna have the numbers that Dennis Rodman had, right? Because he also doesn't have the natural athleticism that Dennis Rodman has either. But if we're talking about being a menace and defensive smarts, yeah, it may be Draymond. It may be Draymond Green. And I ain't gonna lie, I wish. I'm sorry.
Who was that dude that this fan was? He was like at 3 rows back, and this has been a few years ago, and I can't remember his name. He took his ball and just slammed it in his fucking head. He just tossed it at the fan. Oh, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I can't remember that either because and so I know, and if I can't remember it, I'm gonna assume that it.
Shut the fuck up. And it, like the audio was like, "Shut the fuck up," and he.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I'm trying to think to myself if there was an incident where a player purposefully threw a ball at a fan and smashed it into a fan's face, I would because that player would have gotten suspended for some time. Like the NBA doesn't.
Did. I'm gonna look it up. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to remember that. I don't remember that. But yeah, find that information and let me know, right? And as we talk about defense, guys with defensive IQs, I think the New York Knicks are lacking in defensive IQ for a team that's being led by a defensive coach and an offensive mind like Tom Thibodeau, right? Or Tom Thibodeau, whatever you want to call him. Right? It really shakes me that is a team that constantly is blowing 20-point leads, 20-point leads, 20-point leads. But let me let you know what was the most discouraging probably over these last 2 losses. The loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder and also the loss to the Brooklyn Nets. And that was that in both of those games, the New York Knicks had above a 95% chance to win those games. Let me repeat this to you. In games when the New York Knicks were up by 20-plus points coming down to the end, at one point in these games, they had the odds, and I wish I would bet against them. I need to start making money betting against the Knicks. I think that's what I need to start doing, just putting $10 bets against the Knicks every single time, right? But they had a 95% chance to win the game. I mean, at that point in time, if you would have put the odds against them to lose or for the other team to win, you're coming up with money, and both times they lost. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets. They lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's getting to a point where people are starting to call for Tom Thibodeau's job. And it even makes us wonder here, is Tom Thibodeau's future secure with the New York Knicks? Because we feel a weird type of way about that. Because
didn't Patrick Ewing play for the New York Knicks?
Of course he did. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, during the Jordan era.
Hey, I don't like basketball.
Sorry. They said he played for the New York Knicks during the Jordan era.
Yeah.
So,
but I got that looked up. I was mistaken. He didn't strike. Houston Rockets. Christian Wood experienced that firsthand when he passed during Monday night's game against Charlotte Hornets. Did not expectedly hit his intended target. Wood was looking for teammate Josh Christopher midcourt, but instead passed and missed and hit a fan in the head. He threw the ball at some dude's head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the way the NBA is, if if there's an incident like that where where a player purposefully throws a ball, and I wouldn't forget it. What's going on, Jack? I see you. Hope you guys are still having a good time over there. Like I wouldn't easily forget it, and it wouldn't be easily forgotten like that, because that guy would have been made an example. Like they wouldn't just suspend him. They make example out of things like that, because the NBA definitely.
But it was an accident. Yeah,
exactly. Like I said that's the reason why we didn't hear much about it, because it was an accident. That's like
the guy
it couldn't
was
have been.
talking shit. According to Barstool and every other sport, it was talking shit, and he just who was the target. You know,
because like I said, because we've seen players find creative ways to get back at fans. Like we've seen Stephen Curry. Yeah. We've seen Stephen 100%. Curry throw his mouthpiece at a fan. We've seen Blake Griffin pour. We've seen Blake Griffin pour Gatorade on a fan. Like, so.
I dropped this. Oops.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen we've even seen RJ Barrett curse out of a fan. And just tell him like, hey, you came here to see me, right? Then shut the fuck up.
Absolutely.
I remember RJ Barrett is a third year in the league, but we absolutely saw him there. It's like, hey. And it was a funny thing too. Like he waited until the referee was outside of earshot. You could see him looking, and as soon as the referee got far enough, it was like, hey, you came here to see me, right? Right? Hey, you came here to see me, right? Then shut the fuck up. And dude was like, okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Go Knicks. Oh man. And that's exactly how I feel about the Knicks every time they give an interview, every time after every one of these losses. Every time that Julius Randle's talking about, well, you know, we just didn't stay focused for the whole game. We have to keep our tempo up. We kind of lost our pace in that third quarter. I want to tell them to shut the fuck up. Because this is every game that you lose your tempo, or you forget to push, or you don't have. At some point in time, you're not forgetting. This is habitual behavior. Like you aren't doing this subconsciously. This is who you are.
No, yeah.
And for the New York Knicks,
it's narcissism.
Yeah, this is who.
You change for a minute.
Exactly. They change for a game. They change for a game. They change for a moment. They look good for 3 quarters, but when they're not paying attention. That muscle, when they're not laser focused, what does that muscle memory say to do? Not push the ball properly, not take care of the ball. You know, dribble, spin move, pump fake shot. That's what it tells you to do. And or
what you used to.
Exactly. Or when you get up, you get comfortable, and when you get comfortable, you start doing all of your pattern behaviors, and a lot of your pattern behaviors are bad. Exactly, or bad habits. And the New York
Knicks, not bad habits; they're good habits, but you got to change your habits.
Or in the NBA, or as you're told by the time you even get to college. Listen, when you're in high school, you need to have 2 moves, right? Because your initial move is probably going to get cut off at the rim, so you need to have a secondary move. By the time you're in college, you need to have 3 moves. By the time you're in the NBA, you should at least added 4 or 5 moves to your package. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So Julius Randle. So what happens with Julius Randle? These players that your move package is being figured out and you're not adjusted. So they already figured out it's dribble, left hand, spin move, pump fake. Oh, that ain't work. What's left now? You have nothing after that, because by the time you pump fake, you picked up your dribble. See, you have nothing to counter the counters of your opponents. This is what made Akeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Kobe Bryant so great. It was that they had counters to your counter moves, to their signature moves. So when you thought that you learned their signature move, they even listen, a guy that we don't talk about in good enough light when it comes to this, Kyrie Irving. Right? Guys that they understand that you can take away move 1 and 2, but I have a third move. Or now I have a counter to your move, because I'm not going to my third move anymore. What I'm now doing, I'm reacting based off of you. Oh, you've leaned now too much to the right. Let me go ahead and use your momentum against you. Let me go ahead and bring you over to the left. Now look at you running and hustling to come back to the left. Oh, let me use your momentum back against you. Let me bring you back to the right. Now you're coming back to the right. Let me come forward a little bit. Oh, you've backed up. Let me go ahead and do a step back. Now I have all the space that I need. Jay in your face.
You so I can get into the grind, get into the middle, and just...
Or draw... exactly. Or just put my body into you because now I got you on your heels and let me draw contact.
Yeah.
So...
And then you're gonna...
so Julius Randle...
Oh...
And some of these guys, they're too
technical. Yeah. Plus my one.
But Julius Randle and some of these guys, they're too worried about, let me get my moveset off, and if my moveset can't beat you, I don't know what to do. Instead of like, hey, let me start off with my moveset and let me see how you react. And now if you start reacting to all of my moveset, because obviously you're watching tape on me, the same way I'm watching tape on you, you got a fucking report on me, the same way I got a report on you. Now let me start doing on-the-fly adjustments. See, some of you are too robotic in your moves. You see, like, as much as we dislike Kyrie Irving, there's something about Kyrie Irving's outside-of-the-box thinking that allows him to be able to counter everything that you do. There's something about Kobe Bryant's outside-of-the-box thinking that allowed him to have a counter to your counter to your counter. Now, granted, there's counters on offense and there's counters on defense. Some people are defensive counter. Some people are masters at counter.
It's just like playing chess.
It's exactly like playing chess. Like, you may have a moveset.
When you're in that box, and I don't know what your term is for it, but I call it the fucking box. When you're in there, you gotta
stir like motherfucking coffee. When you guys get in that box, you gotta stir that shit like motherfucking coffee. You heard Bernie Williams. I'm Jang-a-lang, 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 jang-a-lang.
Jang-a-lang.
Sorry. I had a movie cultural reference flashback. Oh man.
A what? Flashback?
I had a movie culturally referenced flashback. Is when a movie has something so deep in it that it affects the whole entire culture. Like if you've watched.
What's the movie?
Well, that movie was that a movie or was that his comedy special? That may have been his Bernie Mac's comedy special. That made it to movie form. But that was one of his comedy specials where he told a joke about when you're stroking Bernie Mac, one of the kings of comedy.
Oh, Bernie.
Yeah.
Fucking Bernie. I love Bernie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. I've already forgotten 2 stories I was gonna tell. but one of those, it's one of those culture reference things. Like, yeah, Bernie Mac said, "Listen, if you're gonna do, you gotta stir it like motherfucking coffee. You got to make sure you hit all of the parts." Now, one thing I am kind of happy about, as you guys realize, we're on a nice little break right now. Right, we have All-Star. Right now is the All-Star break. So as you guys know, as I mentioned earlier, that we have the rookie and sophomore All-Star challenge going on right now between the USA team and the international team, and we're watching that go on. But even better than watching the All-Star break weekend, which is going to give us a slam dunk contest, a 3-point contest, skills challenge, where they changed up the format to this year. The best part probably about this All-Star game weekend is the fact that I don't have to watch the Knicks for a whole entire week. Holy shit. I don't have to worry about these sorry motherfuckers. I get a good mental break because the New York Knicks have been working my nerves. Every single last one of them. They've been working my nerves. And I can't stand it. And all I hear about is Tom Thibodeau needs to be gone. Oh, what's going on with Julius Randle? Oh, we need to give Cam Reddish more minutes. Oh, things will get better when Derrick Rose get back. How, Sway? How? How are things gonna get better? Tell me, Sway. How?
Sway, how are things gonna get better?
Y'all got me pulling a full Kanye out here. How, Sway?
What? What's up? I don't know who Sway is.
It's just one of those things that things may not get better for the New York Knicks, and you could see the maneuvering of it where Tom Thibodeau is being positioned to be the scapegoat. And from the moment that Tom Thibodeau was brought to this team, there were a couple narratives that consistently follow him. He doesn't like to play young players, even though we had a team full of young players at the time, but he doesn't like to play young players. And the fact that
what you got to deal with when you get old. You got to deal with the young players.
yeah, and the fact that he's a great guy to set a foundation, but not bring your foundation to the promised land. And for the Knicks, in a weird way, either or is oddly acceptable to them, right? Because the New York Knicks needed a culture. They needed a full culture reset. So to bring a guy like Tom in there helps reset that culture. And now that he has set that culture and actually showed these young guys what a winning formula looks like, has he done his job? And is it time for him to go? And then I ask you, Knicks fans, when he goes, who replaces him? See, that's the problem. Like, who's going to replace him? Because you forgot until we,
Well, that's just it. There's no such thing as a replacement.
Well, there are replacements depending on who you get. And I just don't know if a replacement for a guy like Tom Thibodeau is out there. Because the New York Knicks, remember this, Knicks fans, we were out there looking for a coach for almost a decade. Since Coach Van Gundy left, we have been on a coaching search. And then we kind of settled into a coach with D'Antoni, and we still barely settled into him. So we've been on a coaching search for almost 20 years. For almost as long as we've been looking for a point guard. You finally got your coach that has helped reset this culture. Because even as bad as things look right now...
Dungy.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Oh, like kind of like Tony... Yeah, kind of like Tony Dungy with the Colts. You know, like... So now that you got that guy, and he's having a bumpy season, which is still better than the majority of the seasons that you put up for the last 15 years. You're ready to get rid of him because the winning doesn't look the way that it should or the way that you expected it. As the second year into a rebuild, a full, flat-out, cultural overhaul, organization rebuild. We're to rebuild everything. We had a new president, new basketball operations. We got a new coach. You understand? We got everything new. We even got a new we even got a new consultant of PR management of bullshit like that. Everything new. Second year into it, and it's still better than what the.
Throw this into a movie reference.
I'm sorry,
if you will. Yeah, I'm gonna throw this into a movie reference.
Go ahead.
You ever watch that movie Moneyball?
Yes.
Yeah, same thing. It's, somebody comes in, takes him out, and says, sorry, good, bad, you're being traded, whatever the case may be. It's, Buck, dude, I'm sorry for your loss. That's all I can say.
And listen, and when it comes to the Knicks, we're sorry for our losses almost every other day. Right? So it makes so I ask you, Knicks fans, if you get rid of Tom Thibodeau, who are you going after? Because me personally, there's probably only one name. And I really do mean this, right? There's more than one name, obviously, right? But if I had to think, I could probably think of maybe 4, maybe 5 guys that I would like to coach the Knicks. And I don't know if any of them are available. The first one ends up being Mark Jackson. And I don't think anything is pulling Mark Jackson out of that booth from a guaranteed cushy job where he gets to talk about the basketball game and not have to stress over it for 24 hours a day, every day for 6 months, if not longer.
You got a lot of money on these guys?
No, I don't bet at all. I'm not a big better. I can't.
Well, awesome. You are the best fan ever. You're a legit fan, not...
Yeah, I can't bet, because you know what? I feel like if I bet, I'll be like the next DC sniper, but I'll be outside of NBA arenas. like I'm sorry, like I'll be the athlete sniper. Like you wouldn't catch me until the star player from like the 16th team is gone.
Guess what? Who's gonna win today? Not you.
Like I'm Lorena Bobbitt in everybody. Like you don't understand. Wait, not Lorena Bobbitt. That's the wrong crazy chick. Nancy Kerrigan? Am I Nancy Kerrigan now? Yes. Whoever took out the kneecap. Whoever took out the kneecap. Wait.
It was Nancy.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I should never wish that. Listen, as a guy, I should never wish any guy ever gets Lorena Bobbitt. My bad. You know what? I apologize. I was being an asshole.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
You gotta remember, maybe they earned it.
I don't know if anybody deserves that. Nobody deserves to have their private parts extracted. Unless you're... Listen, unless you are molesting underage people, nobody deserves to have their private parts extracted. There's nothing you can do to piss anybody off that much.
Well, let's think about it. That dude let that crazy in his life.
He did. But don't we all like a little crazy, though?
Absolutely.
Okay, then. Like, nobody likes boring. Like,
anyway.
But, yeah, I can't bet. I just can't bet. I can't bet. But back to the Knicks in the future. There's probably only about five coaches I can probably truthfully see that I would like for the New York Knicks. One of them is Mark Jackson. I don't think Mark Jackson's leaving the booth, right? My love fest for wanting Van Gundy back is already gone. But there are a couple of other coaches, right? There are a couple of other coaches out there. I don't believe... Actually, I'd not say I don't believe. I can probably say 100% Steve Kerr is not going anywhere. So we're not going to get Steve Kerr, so he's off the Bucks. So that leaves me with two possible coaches I would like for the New York Knicks. And I don't know if either one of them is going to get out of their contract and leave. And I also know that if you do get any one of them as a coach, you're going to have to give up something as well. For a coach. Not a player, but for a coach. But for a coach of coaches. You understand? We're talking about a free Mr. Clark kind of coach.
Well, the owner's gonna coach the coach. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, but we don't want James Dolan. But just to say, you have to find coaches that are so competent that James Dolan does not feel the need to interject or to get handsy.
That's one thing about the coaches is they bring the team to everything, and mind you, I've been in sports my entire life. I all kinds of sports, and this is not, you may not consider this a sport, but I was a bowling coach. And being a coach, you make way less than the players do. But yet you've got to get them together and get them to do what you want them to do. That's what a coach dowell,
Mm-hmm. Unless you're the WNBA. Then, as a coach, listen.
Well, then, yeah, they coach you. They're like, look,
listen.
I'm on my period. Shut up. We all synced up.
Like,
we're gonna do it our way.
But in the WNBA,
back off and say, okay.
There are coaches that are getting paid 3 times more than the highest paid player in the WNBA.
I did not know that. I've never looked into it.
Well, hey, that's why we're here on the MyT Sports Podcast.
Right on, man. Hey, thanks for giving me the facts. I'm not talking shit.
No, you're very welcome. And listen, if you want to know specifically who it is Becky Hammon from the Las Vegas Aces, who are owned by, I always forget what his real name is. I just know his daddy, but Mark Davis's son. Is his son Mike Davis? I know Al Davis. No, maybe he is Mark Davis. His daddy was Al Davis. Al Davis' son, Mark Davis. He owns the Las Vegas Aces, and
Mark Davis owns a bunch of car dealerships and shit too.
Does he? I did not know that he was also in the car dealership business as well. But he did. But I know that
I think don't quote me on that.
But just this past year, that he purchased the Las Vegas Aces from the MGM group, right? From the gambling organization. Is that if you wonder, like, oh, MGM, yes, that MGM. He bought the Las Vegas Aces from
MGM up in Detroit, Toledo.
Yeah.
Obviously Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he bought it from the MGM group, and And so he's owned it now this year. Since he has owned it, they have gotten other investors to go ahead and invest $75 million into the game. He also has the highest, he has made his coach the highest paid coach. Now, unfortunately, the backlash of that is that by making his coach the highest paid coach, she's getting paid 3 times more than the highest paid player. And listen, Al Davis came out and said, not Al Davis, now I'm confusing him again. But Mark Davis came out and said one thing, like, you know what? If I could pay these players as much as I'm paying these coaches, I would. Right? So he is right now just kind of being hamstrung by whatever collective bargaining agreement or what they have set as their own salary, as their own personal salary caps. Because Mark Davis, as his own his own billionaire owner, he's ready to go ahead and start giving every single woman that plays for him $1 million contract, at least at bare minimum $1 million contract a year. And yes, if they got $1 million contract a year, that would be something. That's how little they're getting, even as the best star player on the team. And trust me, folks, we'll get into the WNBA more as the season. Sorry, we'll get more into the WNBA as the basketball season progresses. As you guys know, the WNBA season is just around the corner, as well with the Major League Baseball season, which we may not get. As you guys may have heard, they've already canceled spring training for us, so we're good. So we already lost that.
Sucks. You used to go watch the Twins when we had our place in Florida growing up. Twins training camp was down there in Fort Myers. Hey. That being said, who is the lowest NBA player in the 21-22 season? The lowest paid player in the 2022 NBA season is Demetrius Jackson of the Boston Celtics, who is paid $92,857 for the season.
Which would probably still make him one of the top 10 WNBA paid players. That's a joke, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. Because I don't even know who he is. And the fact that he's not getting paid at least $100,000, that lets me know that he's probably that.
I only know about Demetrius Jackson because of the fucking Barstool Sports. Gotta love Barstool Sports. But yeah, that's wild.
Sorry, listen, hey, Barstool Sports, hook me up. Hit me up. You guys know you guys need some real raw talent down there. I actually know one of your producers. Alex Colton. Is he your no? He's not your producer. He's your cameraman. My bad. He works. He's the one that provides you guys with all your equipment when you guys come down here in South Florida and you guys do your recordings. Yeah, I know the person that records for Barstool Sports down here.
Oh, nice. Nicely done. Go Press Go.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
And I known him before I was even in the business. Like, I've known him for like a long ass time. I'm best friends. Like, his sister's one of my best friends.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Actually,
that's pretty awesome.
You see that big ass talking to my girlfriend right now. You see that big ass flask that I have right there? His sister got me that. Okay. Yeah. Oh no.
Oh man.
Boogie.
Glad you're part of Barstool Sports. That's awesome.
No. I need to be a part of Barstool Sports. I'm not, but I'm telling them I need to holler at me, Barstool Sports. You guys know that you need a raw, uncut podcast on your network that you can't control, and I'm exactly that. And also, I'm pretty sure that you need to up your black demographic. I'm just saying. Like,
you are 100. We got Zod. We got Zod. That's it. We got Zod.
I'm just being silly. Oh man, listen, I'm over here pushing buttons and breaking ankles. And speaking of breaking ankles, right? Anthony Davis, he is injured again, and this is probably one of the things that upset me the most, because as soon as he got injured, the first thing that popped in my mind is that. And this is the guy that you guys had a top 5 has a top 5 player a couple years ago just because he won a fucking championship. He didn't even win just because he got dragged through the finish line for a fucking championship after having a 3-month hiatus because the whole world got shut down. He had to do nothing. Like, he didn't even have to practice. Like what Allen Iverson said, practice. We talking about practice. Practice, he didn't have to practice.
Hey,
Anthony,
man, that was a nice afternoon for like 9 weeks for me.
Listen, that was a nice afternoon for about like 6 months.
when the shutdown happened.
Yeah, it was like one long ass weekend.
Until I wasn't.
For real. Like, I didn't even know I was essential until I was.
Exactly.
Like, wait a minute. I couldn't even get a raise 2 days ago. Now I'm essential? Well, where's some of that extra essential money? Since I'm so important.
There you go. Yeah, these motherfuckers sitting at home making twice what I make.
Like, I'm gonna need some hazardous duty pay if you're gonna want me to take the subway into work. Like, you're tripping.
You're not joking, man.
Like, no, listen, I used to tell my homegirl now, like, yo, Natalie, you are way too nice on your job. Because if those motherfuckers would have had me taking the subway into work while everything is shut the fuck down because we have a worldwide pandemic, I'll be asking them for some extra. That'll be the perfect time to be like, so, is there any way we can get a raise? Or how about some hazardous duty pay for me putting myself at risk? Since my team is the only one coming in while all of you guys at home all safe and fat and sassy. Like, fuck all that. Y'all just got fat out there while we all starved to death. It's my time. I want in.
Hey, man. That's just, shutdown is how I discovered podcasting. So.
Hey, shutdown is how I discovered Podbean fully. Because I knew about Podbean before then, and it was during the shutdown that I decided, I said, you know what? Let me get myself fully ingrained into Podbean. And then once that happened, I end up getting this great Podbean family with guys like Bands. He's listening. He's watching right now on Instagram. But people like Bands and Poe and Chill Will and so many
Chill Will.
Chill Will
I've been on shows with Chill Will before.
Yeah, Chill Will is one of my people. Like there's so many Yanni and Yanni. Like there was like 3 different Yannis with their names spelled differently. There was like a Yanni with 2 N's and an I. There was Yanni with 1 N and 1 I. There was a Yanni with 1 N and 2 I's. They were all in 3 different parts of the country, like, but they all had like similar personalities. Like,
all right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it was great. Also shout out and rest in peace to Pod Guy, one of the most influential people that we did meet.
100%, man. When I first joined, that dude.
Ah, so you knew Pod? Yeah. So yeah, I was here during that whole entire time. I'm talking about we were Pod. You guys don't understand when I tell you we would pod for like 4 days straight. It would basically be like as soon as one person finished podding, somebody else would pick up the podcast.
Boom, right.
And somebody else would pick up the podcast, and it was just everybody was podding, and you would go to sleep, and you would wake up to like a group of like 20 of the same people or 25, 40 people in one podcast, all chilling, having a good time, exchanging experiences. It was a great time. It was really a great time, and I also know that it really did help. It also helped save a couple of people's lives during that pandemic. I know a couple of people that they really needed a companionship. That's why that's probably one of the reasons why I think like I love Podbean so much. It's not even so that it helps me connect to everybody, but the people that it did help me connect with during the pandemic specifically. It's almost like it's like I was in the military, so it's almost like I built like my own little military family or Podbean family, like I did in the military, like through here. So like listen, shout out to Podbean, shout out to everybody that I met through through the Podbean family. Rest in peace to Pod God, and you know what I mean. Let's keep podding and doing great things. So I'm with you. I know exactly what you mean about Podbean. Like it has been a very great platform, and now we've been podding so long that we're able to monetize that shit. Like they hit me up the other day. It's like, hey, we got an advertiser that wants to advertise during your podcast. When can we squeeze that shit in?
Right. No, I got to the point. I had a show called Drunken Shenanigans.
I know that show.
300 followers.
I know that show.
Yeah,
I may follow you on. I think I follow you on Instagram or I follow you on social media or some shit. I'm pretty sure I do.
All right. Well, that got shut down. My old cousin, the co-host, they both went crazy. Broke up with, and, you know, the way life goes. And I mean, it's just I've been just floating around. I don't have my own show. It used to. Good to have, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. So let me answer this. I'm gonna try to see how long you've been on Podbean. Were you there when they married the chickens? See, I don't know who, but if you was there and you know about it, then like if you know, you know. Like that is one of the rare.
That started in 2020.
It was in 2020. It was in 20. Like I said, this was in the beginning of the pandemic, and I remember when we was getting all the pod and stuff together, right? And we first started.
Who's laughing behind you? Who's the lady with you?
Oh, that's my girl. That's my girl somewhere. I gave Lewis and Rosie your bag. You left my bag. I left my bag. Oh, I know what bag I left. Oh shit. Okay.
Right. Well, yeah, man. Drunken shenanigans. It went on and on for a minute. Fights, this and that, and then that dude just went nuts. We got to the point to where we were going to be monetized, getting some change back for ads, things like that, and then he went off the rails. And then she and I broke up, and then I shut it all down and tried to come back on my own. Now I got, all of 30 followers. So go ahead and follow me. Funky Nights if you want to.
Listen, drop your information in the comments, and I'll definitely follow you.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you. Anyway, then
so
go back to
let's get back to this book. Like I said, I'm definitely not potting for more than 2 hours today. Like sometimes I do 3. I'm not potting for any more than 2 hours today. And you know what though? It's one of those great times too where sports can be crossover shot airball. It was LaMelo Ball. He did a lot of dancing for a lot of no action. He shot his shot, and I don't know if he shot it at the right hole. But I have back to the basketball and back to the Lakers a little bit. I am curious about what's going to go on with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has been fragile his whole entire career. See, this is nothing new, and I feel like in a weird way when they talk about Anthony Davis's injuries, they almost talk about it as if it just started when he got to LA. As if they forgot that he was injured almost every single year for 7 years in New Orleans. It's the reason why the New Orleans Pelicans or whatever the fuck they were before then, right? I forget, right? Why they could not make the playoffs in previous years. And the only one time that they did make the playoffs is probably the healthiest season that he ever had. And that's the reason why. But it's because he wasn't there. He wasn't reliable.
101.
He was not a reliable individual. He was not a reliable player. You know what they say? What's your best ability? Availability. And he was not available for his team. He's barely been available for his team in LA. And listen, we all had high hopes. But we all knew one thing. He'll win one championship with LeBron James. LeBron James will drag his big ass through at least one championship. But we also thought that,
LeBron James is a fucking...
He is to be highly respected for his work during this era. He should definitely... That's the best thing I can say about him, is that he is to be respected for his work during this era. I can't say much else good about LeBron James without regurgitating it in my mouth. Sorry. But
what was
his fragile Anthony Davis.
Leonard.
Kawhi. Oh,
Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is
2020. LeBron James, right there. Boom.
We starting to get a little chippy over here. Let's see. This All-Star game or this Rising Star game is 47-48. The target score is
what channel is that?
50. It's on TNT right now. If you guys are looking, come on. The All-Star game right now is in Cleveland, and I'm actually happy that the year that it's in Cleveland, that Cleveland is doing good. Like I'm gonna, you guys know me. I'm really a left field kind of person, right? I'm a full left field kind of person. I straight like to pull my ball, right? I straight like to pull it straight left field, right? And I was really happy to see that, and let me frame this for you guys. Far too often, sometimes you get players forced into the All-Star weekend because their team because their city is hosting that week, right? Is hosting the All-Star week. right? At even times when their team isn't good, you'll see that a representative from their team gets squeezed in somewhere, whether it's into All-Star game or into the Rising Star game or the shooting or the 3-point contest or the slam dunk contest, right? Well, this time around, as we have another caller coming up, what's going on, Private? Welcome to the Mighty Sports Podcast, right? We'll get you up here in just a minute, right? That this time around, I'm actually enjoying the fact because it's in Cleveland, and if you would have told me last year that Cleveland would have been good enough to have multiple All-Stars representing them, 3 All-Stars representing them, right? I would have been like, nah, they wouldn't deserve 3 All-Stars representing us probably just because of them being there. But they have 3 All-Stars 3 players being represented this All-Star weekend. And I say 3 All-Stars because once you make it into the All-Star weekend, then basically, you're an All-Star now. So they have 3 All-Stars representing them, and it's deservingly so. Because honestly, for the most part, if you've watched this season, you may have even thought that 2 of their players should have been in the All-Star game at bare minimum. And we could have even gotten a 3rd in there if the NBA made a common practice of putting 2 to 4 rookies into the All-Star voting. Like, if they did that, I guarantee you Cleveland gets a rookie into the All-Star game, because that kid Mobley is the truth. Like, they talk about after Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo, which we'll talk about a little bit later in this game, which kind of guys have that at that size has an all-around game that is probably going to end up filling out the way that those guys have. That next guy is Mobley. He's the next monster. He's the next beast in the middle. He's the next versatile big man that we're going to talk about. All-around big man. I don't understand why players ain't all-around, period. But he's that next guy. What's going on, Praveen? Welcome to the Mighty Sports Podcast. I see you calling up.
Hi, Sports. How you doing?
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm fine, bro. Just I'm going for a little vacation. I'm in vacation mode.
Oh, nice. We all like with the holiday. Well, what you so you call into the Mighty Sports Podcast. Do you have? I ask everybody this. What is your favorite sports team?
Of course, we don't watch in India. We watch only cricket, not football. We don't like. I like only football. Arsenal, the team.
Okay, so I didn't. Praveen, did I ask you? Did I ask you what American sport is your favorite sport? I asked you.
Baseball.
What's your favorite
Baseball.
team? No. I want you to tell me what's your favorite team. What's your favorite team to watch wherever you're at? That's what I want to know.
Oh, WWE, my favorite.
WWE?
I watch every time.
You mean
yes, WWE?
You mean World Wrestling Entertainment?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Wait, do you mean are you really talking about? Can you smell what The Rock
is cooking?
Man,
He just said it.
Now you're talking my language. Because we are big wrestling fans here. Can I tell you? I'm gonna let you in a little secret. If this is your first time calling,
who do you like? WWE in which? Who's a wrestler you would like? Mostly.
My favorite wrestler right now in WWE is still for the last 15 years has been
Undertaker.
No, because
Undertaker.
Well, Undertaker's not currently wrestling.
John Cena?
John Cena's not currently wrestling. He's a part-timer now. he's a part-timer now. Yo, you know what though? I love his voiceovers in that purple cow commercial.
Did you say John Cena?
No, I did not say John Cena.
Who?
For the last 15 years, my favorite wrestler has been, and it will be, the 3 most devastating letters in sports and entertainment history. We said rest in peace to Kobe. I'm going to bring you another famous snake. We're talking about the Viper, Randy Orton.
Oh, Randy Orton.
That's my dude.
What about Jake the Snake?
Well, Jake the Snake isn't currently active. And even when Jake the Snake was active, he wasn't my favorite. I mean, we had Bret the Hitman Hart, the excellence of execution over here, if you know what I'm saying. Like, how could I mean
breaking my heart.
exactly. You know? But WWE,
My
like,
most favorite.
sorry, go ahead.
My most favorite wrestler is Viper, Randy Orton. I like him. Just his action, his his movement, his like funny he's doing. I like him very much.
I'm a big fan of Randy Orton. I like to see his new role right now because a lot of people may not realize this. Randy Orton right now is probably doing the most, and that not only the most microphone work that he's ever done, but he's doing the most precise microphone work. Because listen, it's been truth. Like one of the things that's been truth about Randy Orton, he's been a great talent over the years, but he was never really good with the mic. He never quite got the connection portion with the crowd. He never really understood timing sometimes.
Let's get ready to.
And then he would fuck up. See, that would happen. Like, he would get there and he would fuck up. So he didn't quite understand timing. He didn't quite understand sometimes that he could make a look and have the crowd react. He can say one word and make the crowd react. Like, he didn't understand like the kind of power that he had, and to be able to to puppeteer the crowd. Within the last.
Sports, do you recently watch the WWE that Randy Orton Spilby match? Have you seen that?
The Randy Orton and which rematch?
Spilby.
Spilby.
Miss Bam Bam Bigelow.
Spilby. Bam Bam Bigelow was a great big man. Wait a minute. Randy Orton and who? Right now?
Riddle. His cope contestant.
Oh, Riddle. Yes. Okay. We're yeah. Oh no, yeah. That's part of the reason why I'm even more a fan of him right now, because now we're getting full Randy Orton. You're getting him being comfortable on the mic. This is probably the most comfortable we've seen Randy Orton in his Randy Orton persona ever. Because before, the Randy Orton we used to see, that was just Randy Orton being a dick. And he was always just kind of a dick. And now he's no longer a dick, and he's allowed himself out to have fun and loosen up and be more of a character now, instead of being just the kind of an asshole in character and out of character. And that's why you also see him with a guy like Riddle, because a guy like Riddle is almost like a complete opposite of what Randy Orton's persona has been throughout the whole entire WWE career. And this actually may even look like the first.
His hair.
His hair? Well, he never really had hair.
Yeah, I know.
He always kept his hair kind of snake-like. Like, he always kept it like with a little pointy tip. Kept his widow's peak kind of showing, kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, like, people don't realize, like, wrestlers live up to their character, or they transform into their characters a lot of times as well. And they find every little way to be more and more of their character in and out of the squared circle. A little fun fact that you guys may not know about your boy MyT over here. I am also a ring announcer for a local wrestling organization named Platinum Pro Wrestling.
Nice.
Yeah, and next month we will be out in Naples for the Kali Affair, having an event that whole entire week from April. Yeah,
Naples.
April 18th to about April 24th. Nice. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be heading out there. Yeah, I've been that's like I've been. Like I said, so now now that I grew up a wrestling fan, like I have to tell people that say they like wrestling how full circle it is for wrestling for me. I grew up watching and loving wrestling, right?
Did you grow up watching wrestling like on a TV?
Yeah,
that was made of wood.
On a TV made of wood that was on top of a bigger TV made of wood with only green color.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I definitely did. But I used to catch them when they was only on for like once a week. Like it was so crazy. Like for half an hour at a time, shit was never live. I've been through every single aspect of the game. But I went from watching wrestling to the very first, and then obviously like going to wrestling events, and then the very first time I started investing, one of the actually I think the very first stock I bought was WWE. That was the very first stock I invested into, and they pay dividends. Yes. So wrestling was the very first stock that I bought into, and then when I got into the entertainment business, I stumbled upon a wrestling gig, and now I'm a ring announcer also for a wrestling organization. So when people ask me, do you love wrestling or do you like wrestling? I tell people, I don't like wrestling, I live wrestling. like
I love it.
I really do.
No, it's 100% truth.
Like, yeah, you can't
awesome.
falsify this kind of fandom. And then when people ask me like,
write it down.
Yeah, when people ask me, well, wrestling ain't real, I'm like, well, how many things on television do you watch that is real? Like, seriously, like if you're not a sports fan,
but in all honesty, okay, you're a wrestling guy, you're a wrestling announcer.
Mm-hmm.
How many dudes have you seen injured doing fake, supposedly quotes in the air, hands in the air right now, fake moves where they're getting slammed the fuck down?
Listen,
that shit.
I see people injured.
Listen,
I see people injured every show. Every show, somebody walks away with something that they may not make it to the next show from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I tell people, like, listen, you can call it fake all you want, but they have real injuries.
They get paid. No, that's what I'm saying.
They get real injuries, and
that's the shit I'm trying to knock out.
Yeah, and they get paid like real professional, respected athletes. They get paid $28 million a year, $35 million a year, $40 million a year.
It's not fake. It's not fake.
It's like, listen, the results are scripted.
Listen to what this man is saying.
Listen, the results are scripted, and sometimes, listen, the move sets listen, it's scripted and it's a little choreographed, but it's not sequential. So from beginning to
a fucking stunt man.
Yeah.
You're the actor / stunt man at the same time. You're like, okay, I signed up for this. Yeah, I'm gonna get slammed, and it's supposed to go right, but it might not. And boom, my shoulder's blown out, and I'm out for
however long. Yeah. But listen, but also like I said, on top of just like I said, because the injuries being real is the easy part. I also like to advise people, like, how many things do you watch on television that isn't scripted or that isn't fake? Because unless you're a sports fan, there isn't a lot of unscripted television that you watch on a regular basis. Everything you watch
TV
is
not reality.
Listen, it's a form of scripted reality. Like it's actually as much reality as wrestling is. They give it's enough leeway for you to give us the results that we want. So like I said, unless you're watching some kind of reality show, like you're not really. So that's just like wrestling is like everything else. Yeah. And I'll be first to admit it. Listen, it's male. It's
not like this Jersey Shore.
Wrestling is male soap operas, right? It's a male action soap opera. It's exactly what it is. It's a male action soap opera.
Very well done.
But also,
very well done.
But also, I tell people what you don't realize: the things that you talk about wrestling that you don't like, or the thing like you don't even realize that wrestling actually gives you the things that you want out of sports. When we talk about today's game, we have Giannis. We have the Milwaukee Bucks going against the Philadelphia 76ers. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo versus Joel Embiid. See what we did there? We talked about we took two teams and then we try to make it seem like their best players were gonna go up against each other. Now in this case, these two best players do play the same position. So at times they will be going up against each other. But are they really? But also, when you say that, you're also building up an anticipation for something. You know what you also wish you had after that? You also wish you had a promo from Joel Embiid talking shit to Giannis Antetokounmpo. And after it was like, and we have the superstar from the Milwaukee Bucks. Right after that, You wish they would cut to Giannis Antetokounmpo talking shit about Joel Embiid. Listen here, we're gonna come into Philadelphia and we're gonna bust your ass. There's nothing you're gonna do, and I'm not gonna give you 47, not 48, not 49, but 50 points. Okay, I'm gonna make you another crying meme. Like that's what you like. That's what you wish you had. Like, and wrestling gives you that. Wrestling gives you two people again. Like you wish you had it in boxing. It's the reason why people love. It's the reason why people loved and also hate Conor McGregor. It's the reason why people love and also hate Floyd Mayweather. It's the reason why people love and hate Muhammad Ali. It's because they were shit talkers. They were doing what we get out of wrestling. You got two people pit up against each other, and then you had a buildup of turmoil for weeks until it all came.
I got to see Muhammad Ali in Fort Wayne.
Ooh, I never got to see Muhammad Ali ever.
He was just on the ice.
Listen, I've never even got to see him in that capacity. Like I've seen Mike Tyson in person. Never seen Muhammad Ali.
Oh, nice.
But I've also seen Fat Man Scoop in person. Listen, with his shirt off in a public setting. Okay, I'll never forget it. Oh my God. Okay, you guys know, right?
You got to see.
This show here, we are the ultimate derailers. I keep telling you that when we hit dingers, they all go left field, okay? So, if you've ever... look up the name...
It's still a home run show.
Look up the name, look up the artist
Jose Canseco was here with his steroids.
For real. Look up the name Fat Man Scoop. Fat Man Scoop. And this guy, right... is a big dude, obviously, and he is a big hype man in a weird sense, right? He makes hype music, so he gets sweaty, and he gets active, and he gets sweaty, and he infamously takes his shirt off.
Oh yeah, what is this guy?
Now I'm gonna tell you this: these German women were not prepared for what was about to happen. He came to the club.
Isaac Freeman III, better known by the stage name
The Fat Man Scoop,
is an American rapper, promoter, and radio personality famed for his on-stage, rough, raw, and loud voice.
There we go. Fat Man Scoop, Crooklyn Clan. That's him. So, Fat Man Scoop, he's doing his hype set, and he's getting hype and sweaty. And because he's a celebrity, all of these women that are a third his size are flocking to him. Right?
Well, fuck yeah. Who is this guy?
So, as they're flocking to him, he does what he always does. He takes his shirt off. Right? He takes his shirt off and he's getting all hype. Now, these women are still around him. Little did they know what was about to transpire next. Fat Man Scoop also... Listen... There are two parts to his name.
Transpire.
Wait. There's two parts to his name. There's Fat Man, and then there's Scoop. So let me tell you what happens when this Fat Man gets excited and all sweaty, and you're a third his size. He scoops you up. And he polys you, if you've never seen that movie with Ben Stiller. He along comes poly you. Yes, he lifts you up while he's fully naked, or his top is naked, and he basically uses you like a rag to dry himself off. And they were not ready. They were not ready for this. Like, they were all excited. Even when he first picked them up, they were excited. Until they realized what was set to be their doomed fate. The looks on their face as it turned from excitement to utter disgust has been burnt into my memory, and I will never forget it, and it brings a smile on my face every single time. Cause you should have known better, but you did it. You was just chasing celebrity clout, and you got treated like a rag doll. Literally.
Let's not call it clout, let's call it cock. And he was like, nah, I'm good.
Oh my God.
Let me use you.
That was hilarious. But as we talk about heavyweights and monsters, and we transition from WWE, I mentioned two heavyweights in the NBA that are that were going up against each other very recently. And that was one Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo, folks, which happened to be a very, very, very exciting game. We're talking about we had the Milwaukee Bucks, the former champions, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, and Joel Embiid who was having an MVP season this year. So basically, you had the guy that's set to be an MVP taking on the guy that is a 2-time MVP and a champion. We ain't gonna play that yet. I'm gonna let that one rest because the champion didn't win. The champion didn't come out on top. No, it was the hungrier guy. And that is not to say that Giannis isn't hungry, but Giannis isn't the one being chased by that cheetah anymore. You see that hungry lion that was trying to eat Giannis up, those media and those reports, those people telling him that he couldn't. Nah, they've subsided. That noise is gone. It's gone to the next person. And those next couple of people are going to be Joel Embiid and James Harden. And Joel Embiid is starting to learn that I'm going to answer the bell. I am one of the biggest people in the NBA. Now I'm one of the biggest people in the NBA. I'm one of the most skilled people in the NBA. Basically, Joel Embiid looks like what we would get if we actually got a mixture of Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez. If Brook Lopez and Giannis had a baby, it would probably be Joel Embiid. And what did I tell you? What would happen if Giannis Antetokounmpo could learn the skills of Brook Lopez? He'll be the best player in the league. Hands down, without anybody even touching him. Certifiable. We're talking about 5 mics. But unfortunately, he's not quite there. And we saw, and the thing about it is that this matchup was an intriguing matchup from a stylistic standpoint, where we saw a little bit of old school versus new school in a sense. Where Joel Embiid, he plays a lot more like and I don't want to say traditional centers anymore, right? Because every position has to evolve, right? So let's say he played like centers of the past, which is back to the basket first, and he could work the post. He's gone to the Hakeem Olajuwon school of feet work, and he's learned.
Team, baby.
Yo, that's still one person I believe everybody should go see at some point in time if you consider yourself an all-star in this league and you want to be one of the GOATs of the game. Go learn feet work from Hakeem. And if you don't go learn feet work from Hakeem, then you're not gonna really be that person that you say you need to be, because Hakeem Olajuwon is one of those guys that knew a counter to your counter to the counter to the counter. That dream shake was because he shook you out of your
shoes.
shoes.
He's like a samurai. He's like a ninja.
Exactly. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
100%. 100%.
Because he took you, because he backed you down a couple of times. He felt where your weight was shifting, and then when he pivoted to the right, he saw you shift that way. He took it back and he pivoted to the left. He saw you pivot to the left. All right. Thank you for coming to the podcast. I appreciate you. Oh wait, my bad. You were talking about. Oh, gotcha. Right, when he came back to the left, if you actually decided to make it to the left and meet him there, then guess what he did? He gave you a little pump fake. If you bit on the pump fake, then he was going through you. If you didn't bite from the pump fake, then sometimes he will fade away from you, or he'll go underneath your arms. See, the fact that you thought that you knew what his moves were and started reacting, he countered your reaction. See, he didn't just go into his moveset and be like, oh, I'm going to beat you with my moveset. No, I'm going to outsmart you by countering what you think is my moveset.
That dude could have quit basketball and been a lightweight boxer.
Listen, he could have quit basketball and been a dance teacher. Like, you understand? World famous dance teacher, Hakeem Olajuwon. With bad knees. Like, what you don't want to do. When you dip, I dip. When you dip, I don't dip. Okay? My knees are bad. You dip, I don't dip. But you dip. But I like what's going on here with Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like I said, you had two different stylistic sides of the center position, but both of them very much also represented what today's center very much is. Joel Embiid, a little bit more of the centers of the past, very much back to the basket. Now, Joel Embiid, there's a reason why he also has the footwork from Hakeem Olajuwon. They're both African. They both have. They come from, if they're not from the same tribe, then they're from neighboring tribes. But you also know Akeem Olajuwon is going to reach out to almost every.
Kevin Bacon there?
Only if he was the Invisible Man, right? Was that Kevin Bacon?
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Right. So, and we all know that Akeem Olajuwon is going to reach out to almost every African player in the NBA and to give them a pointer. He's just going to help out what is his community. Like.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's just gonna do that because, listen, if you watched UFC recently, right, and you seen the Adesanya fight, add Joel Embiid to the name of athletes that he was talking about, as he talked about dominant Africans in sports right now. Add Joel Embiid, who is gonna be a future MVP, to dominant Africans in the league. And yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't quite Greek; he's African. Citizenship transferred over, kind of shit. But that's neither here nor there. Right? So it was good to see the different styles. You had Joel Embiid, a back to the basket kind of guy, but also a guy that can face up, which centers of our era did start doing when they started expounding their game. But also you see the addition to now, where he can go all the way out to the 3-point line and also shoot that shot. But then also you saw again the other day against Cleveland and Josh Allen that he can also take you off the dribble and go to the lane hard. So he has all facets of his game. Like he can score from all 3 points of the game, whether that's outside, inside, or the mid range, whether he's facing the basket or his back is to the basket or is off the dribble, and he could dribble, drive, and dish. All aspects. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a little different. Giannis doesn't really play a lot to his back to the basket. He's more front to the basket. So he's going to take you off the dribble a little bit more. He has a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more ball handling. So his is a lot more front work. I'm going to take you off the dribble. I'm going to beat you with my first step. After my first step, I take one more step. I'm at the rim. I'm a center. I'm 7 feet fucking tall. And if I'm taking the center off the dribble, who's meeting me at the rim? Meet me at the rim. How about that? Nobody's answering that call. So we saw those two styles play. But Giannis isn't just a front to the basket.
I'm seeing it in my head at 5'9" and looking at a 7-foot tall person and being like, you win.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And he's one of those guys that he probably has less than 10% body fat on him. He's one of those individuals. So you could meet him out the rim, but it's gonna be a business decision. And there's not a lot of people that like to answer that call when it comes up. There's not a lot of players in today's NBA that will.
David meets Goliath. I mean, it's biblical.
Listen, man. That is literally wrecking ball meeting hitting pads. like somebody gonna fall.
That means, but all right.
And I don't know if the person that's coming in the lane is gonna feel any of that shit. So we saw the two different stylistic plays, but also Giannis, while it's so weird, right? Joel Embiid is back to the basket first, but can score front to the basket, is very efficient at it. Giannis Antetokounmpo is front to the basket first, but he has no problem backing you down, doing a hook over you, backing you down, dunking over you, backing you down, and working that Kobe, that Jordan, that Akeem Olajuwon, that Patrick Ewing fadeaway over you, which he has started to master. But not only that, the walk-up, pull-up, three-point shot as well. He's adding to his arsenal. It's so weird that we saw a while in the NBA where centers were skilled big men, but they were skilled back to the basket. And then they just became basically rim protectors for some time. They were just basically rim protectors and pick and roll guys. And now we're getting back the skill to the big man. Where big man, you just can't be big because you're just going to be a liability out there if you're just big. You need something to you. So now to see these big men come back again now and work on their post game, because they are working on their post game. I know it isn't what we used to see, but that's because a lot of them work front to the basket first and back to the basket second versus back to the basket first. There's a few of them that does that. Even Joker, He doesn't go back to the basket first. He works he works his face to the basket, but he works in the middle of the paint. He works himself right at the free throw line and works himself as a point center, being able to see all and pass all or shoot all or move all. You see? Like, so seeing the skill come back to the center position is actually a beautiful thing. Even while the centers are still being discredited, while they're still being overlooked. I don't know how you overlook the biggest person on the fucking floor, but they are being overlooked.
Well, they're supposed to be the guy at the 3 line. Man.
Well, they're supposed to be the guy not at the 3-point line. That's a little far out from the basket. The center? Well, that's what they're becoming now. Well.
As a former coach.
Well, now you get the centers at the 3-point line because you want spacing, and you want to draw the guy that's guarding them away. But what happens that if the center that they're guarding can't shoot threes, what happens? That center on defense, he's just gonna sag off, and he's gonna cheat off of defense, and he's still gonna meet you at the rim because you can't pass to his man to make a reliable shot. The evolution of the center now, though, those guys are now making that shot. Anthony Davis, for as injury prone as he is, a center that can shoot out to the 3-point line. Giannis can now hit that shot. Joel Embiid hitting that shot. Joker hitting that shot. You know who can't hit that shot?
Who from like 10 feet behind? Not 10 feet. That's exaggeration. Larry Bird was going nuts.
Well, Larry Bird is a different kind of monster. Like Larry, listen, I'll tell people this. I'll admit this. As we got somebody with the name the Big O that just came and left the room. Like, he's also one of my most respected people too in the NBA, in NBA's history. I didn't see enough of Bird to be able to fully appreciate him. And
he's like 3 feet behind.
Yeah, listen, when people talk to me about the best small forwards in the league of history, and they mention LeBron James and Kevin Durant and a bunch of Carmelo Anthony, and they're not even thinking about Larry Bird, I let them know, listen, you're being too disrespectful, because Larry Bird would have cooked all of them.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, not for nothing, because of his, and I'll admit this, because of his basketball IQ, the person that would have given him the hardest time probably would have been LeBron James. Because of his length, maybe Kevin Durant would have given him a hard time, but Larry Bird would have cooked them all. We're talking about Larry, like his name is Larry Bird, and they would have came out looking like rotisserie. He would have cooked them all.
Nicely done.
Like, you guys don't... I give away free bars here. Like, you guys don't understand how cold this man was. We're talking about colder than cold.
He's a nice dude, but when he was on the court...
Vicious.
He didn't give a shit. He said, okay... Get up in my face.
Basically,
I mean, him and Scottie. I remember him and Scottie Pippen.
Like, basically, his whole career was basically Kobe without athleticism. For real.
Yeah,
like, imagine Kobe. I'm gonna tell you this right now, right? Imagine Kobe, the second half of his career, when he changed his number and he started playing a little bit more below the basket, fadeaways, and he was a lot more skilled. That's Magic Bird, and Magic Bird is still better than that Kobe.
Magic Bird?
Oh, sorry, Larry Bird. That's Larry Bird, and Larry Bird is still better than that Kobe. People do not realize how cold Larry Bird is. We talk about Jordan. We talk about Kobe. We talk about LeBron. Before we get to Kobe, we should probably give Larry Bird that nod right after Jordan, or if you want to put Magic or you want to put Magic before him. But when they talk about people, there's far too often that Larry Bird is left off of there. Far too often. When I am telling you that he needs to be one of the people that sticks out the most, because he still has a thing that I'll never forget to this day. Larry Bird.
I used to watch him
Listen.
Have bloody noses.
Larry Bird used to if Larry Bird played your team, and I still won't forget this. Larry Bird, if he played your team, there were times that you would catch Larry Bird having a great game, and he's cussing up a storm. He's mad the whole game.
Yeah.
Mad the whole game.
Yep.
Why is he mad? Because you put a white guy on him. Listen. Larry Bird, listen, the way that Jordan found a way to feel slighted about everything, that's how Larry Bird felt if you put another white dude on him in the NBA. He took that as a complete sign of disrespect. And the reason why he was mad while having a good game, because even he knew he was going to cook that dude. Rotisserie chicken time.
No joke.
Barbecue chicken alert, okay? He knew he was about to cook him. So he respectfully he respectfully felt disrespected if a white dude was on him, and respectfully wanted some brother to be guarding him, because then he felt like that other team and the players on that team was giving him his respect. Bird is a cold motherfucker. And
I'm screaming.
And I'm telling you,
this tall motherfucker
there's far too many times
pointed.
that after we talk Jordan, that before we get to Kobe, we should probably throw Larry in there. I'm just saying. You should probably throw Larry in there. You should, but I'm telling you this for sure. You should definitely throw Larry in there before you throw LeBron James. Because LeBron James is probably more like Larry than he is like Jordan. And I'm going to tell you in what aspect. Actually, probably not even in this aspect. Because in Larry Bird's era, only one other guy won a championship. I take this back. LeBron James is still hard for me to put in the same category as a lot of these other guys. Because when it comes to Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Shaq, Jordan.
Fucking Shaq.
Right? And also, I keep having to remind you, all of these guys are GOATs. But there's one Billy GOAT. There's one Billy GOAT, and his name is Bill Russell. There's a reason why his name is Bill. Because he's the Billy GOAT. And his name is Russell. You see, there's a difference between those guys and LeBron James. And I'll keep repeating this until I am gray in the face, because sorry guys, I don't turn blue. Right? LeBron James didn't stop anybody from getting a ring in his era. Everybody got a ring during LeBron James's time. Now, part of it is also because of how LeBron James conducted business. As we all know, just like how they say, once you're able to coach the best player on your team, then you could coach the rest of the players on your team. If the best player of a team gets away with something, it leaves the door open for everybody on that team to do something. When the best player on the team runs and creates a super team, that allows the room for everybody to do it. Even bum asses like James Harden feels entitled to do it. You see what happens here? So during his era, he didn't stop anybody from getting a ring. Everybody ate. He was like Oprah with the rings. You get a ring. You get a ring. You get a ring. Everybody gets a ring. When Jordan was champion,
look under your seat.
There's a championship ring. Oh my God, go back to the locker room. There's black suits for everybody and championship rings. But go back and look. During Jordan's era, when Jordan started winning, nobody ate. When Kobe was eating, the only other person eating was Tim Duncan. When Magic ate, the only other person eating was Larry Bird. When Bill Russell ate, there was nobody else at his table. That's why he's the Billy GOAT. For a decade, he ran that shit. That's why Tom Brady's a GOAT. But Bill Belichick, see? You notice how these guys' names always start with Bill? He's the Billy GOAT. Hey.
I'm from New York, and you know what? Tom Brady's a fucking bitch.
And I just saw my boy Ronnie in the room, so you know what?
Yo, you thought Trae Young was still good? Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young! Fuck Trae Young!
Listen, Larry Bird, I'm gonna say, so there are a couple of players in the league through NBA history that I have to respect based off reputation, right? Larry Bird and Dr. J are two of the players, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, three of the players that I saw too late in their career to fully appreciate their greatness, and I know that. And you have to still convince me that there are people greater than them in certain conversations. The other individual, I didn't see him play one game. But I told you, he popped up in this room earlier today. That's why I put a smile on my face. But it's Big O, Oscar Robinson. The guy that actually, the first individual to average a triple-double for a whole season, and he did it for 2 whole seasons. So he was, you understand? And he also won a championship. So he's also one of the greats in history that I've always gravitated. That's my girl. It's probably it's a booty call. It's her girlfriend calling her. They like to scissor.
Tell my wife to leave you alone.
What? Oh, baby. Boogie said tell his wife to stop calling you. Yeah, her and her girlfriend. They like to scissor. You know, they like to scissor a lot. They're beauticians.
Sizzler or scissor?
Scissor. They like to scissor. They're beauticians.
Oh, well. Yeah.
It's a thing that they do. That's what she told me. Like, baby, we're beauticians, so we always scissoring. So you know, they always do scissor stuff together.
They were talking about steak. Sizzler.
Okay, because I'm in a different part of the country, and I haven't been up and down 95 in a while. Does Sizzler still exist?
I don't know.
Is there? Okay. So if there's anybody listening to
I haven't been to Kentucky in a long time.
Oh wow. Oh, Kentucky, home of Thoroughbred 1, Thoroughbred 2, Thoroughbred 3, Thoroughbred 4, Thoroughbred 5, Thoroughbred 6, Thoroughbred 7, Thoroughbred 8, Thoroughbred 9, Thoroughbred 10, Thoroughbred 11, and Thoroughbred 12. All on the same block, and they're all strip clubs.
Love it.
If you guys did not know that, but Kentucky, right outside of actually going into Fort Knox, which I thought is the biggest scam ever. Leading into Fort Knox, there are 12 strip clubs on one block. Thoroughbreds one.
Sounds like a bad afternoon.
Man, that sounds like you're trying to take my whole entire paycheck in one night. Like, hey, we gotta go leave. Oh my God, there's another one right here. Like, we gotta go. Oh my God, there's another one right. I would have gotten home earlier, but every time I left, there was another club. Like, it took me 2 days just to get home, baby. I'm sorry. I left on Friday. I came back Monday morning. Like, no, I don't have rent money or the hair or money for your nails. I don't have money for your nails. I don't have milk money or rent money. Like, I am sorry. You better ask them.
You already got your milk money.
For real, you better start pumping. We're gonna have to start cutting corners, baby. That is the biggest setup ever. Oh my God, folks, we're about to get off the air in about a couple of minutes, and I really don't know what story.
It was great meeting you.
Thank you very much. It was nice chopping it up with you too, Boogie. I appreciate that. And you know what? We'll talk about these other stories on Monday. When we come back on Monday, we'll go ahead and give you the results of All-Star Weekend. So we'll let you know who won the slam dunk contest, who won their skills contest, which they're changing this week. And at least I'll mention that real quick. The skills contest, they have a new format. They're going to have 3 teams. They're going to have a team full of rookies with Cade Cunningham, Josh Giddey, and Scotty Barnes, which actually 3 of the rookies I actually told you about. And then they're going to have a Cavaliers team that's going to have Evan Mobley, the other rookie that you need to be aware about, Darius Garland, and Jarrett Allen. And then also the other team they're going to have is a Giannis team. It's going to have the Giannis brothers, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kostas Antetokounmpo, and also Thanos Antetokounmpo. Right, and they're all going to be taking part of the skill. Yeah, for real. You know what I mean? Muchos gracias, dinera. Right? Hey, so they're gonna have all of those, and we'll let you know. We'll let you know the result of all of the All-Star Weekend on Monday's podcast. As you know, Monday's podcast, we're gonna have the tea of the weekend as well. We're also gonna get it. We'll also get a chance to dive into a little bit of that news about NBC and the Big Ten. We'll go ahead and talk about folks. We'll go ahead and we'll also get into Matthew Stafford and his and that spine issue with the racist, and we'll talk that and much more coming up on the Mighty Sports Podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. We've already lost the Podbean feed. We've been lost the Instagram feed. So we're about to start losing the Twitch and the YouTube feed pretty soon. And really, I think you guys know what's about to happen, right? Because when I get like this, all I really want is for my DJ to play the outro so I can stop rambling.
Sorry, B.
There we go.
I tried.
Thank you. You're forgiven. I know it is.
All the bandwidth in the world couldn't keep me contained.
Can't keep me contained for shit. Outside the box, outside the bandwidth.
No.
Through the wire. Through the wire. I did that. So hopefully you have to go through that.
Challenge with Podbean Live.
Talk about Podbean. We love
Always
Podbean.
knew I'd take the pod there.
Told you it's in the outro.
Just a lot later than a lot of listeners thought.
The pandemic.
Last of the real gabbers.
For real. I talk about anything.
Well, maybe not the
There's
last.
a new generation coming.
Munchkin got good mic skills.
7 seconds or less too.
New, improved MyT podcast.
And she got TikTok live. I can't get that shit yet. I don't know what's going on.
Potting down now.
I am about to play the outro.
Last call for drinks.
You're not gonna see my face anymore.
Bars closing.
Curtains coming up.
Sun's
shit.
out.
Oh, I geezed.
Heard the casino got a buffet breakfast.
That shit is good though. It's expensive.
Don't want to go far.
Not at all. It's just right down the block.
Wild night.
Crazy.
Tired, B.
I already took a nap though.
Tired.
Now I'm kind of awake.
MyT.
I'm gonna play a game of 2K. Sports! I had fun. I always do. Let me go get my love.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. Like, for real. Yeah.
Y'all
For
shut
real.
up. Whatever. Y'all shut up.
Fuck wrong with him.
Nobody talking to y'all.
Fuck. What happened in the podcast? Is that?
Of course it's done.
Oh, I gotta go share it.
After 11.
Okay, I'm coming.
Oh, my phone's dead. I didn't plug it in.
You better make sure your phone on.
Why?
Just in case I call you, baby.
Oh.
Motherfucker.
I'm not gonna be here though.
Worry about
I'm
it.
messing with you.
You was just trying to. Okay, I get it.
I'm messing with you, baby.
All right, baby. Just give me some room so I can put some lotion on.
Plug it in my phone.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, give me some room so I can plug my lotion on.
6 feet. I need some elbow room. Who knew that? That Ludacris had COVID songs before COVID.
Oh. after this?
You have no clue. I am about to do everything I wanted to do before the podcast. Hey, am I still on camera? Cause I'm about to get naked. Whatever. OnlyFans.
Yeah, I know you got an OnlyFans. You be going on there to masturbate.
Mhm. I gotta remember to download the app actually. Trying to make
Oh,
money.
you think all this shit funny?
I do think all that shit funny because we have an OnlyFans. People come on OnlyFans and watch us and masturbate to
I
us.
take a brick and I step on it. I take a brick and I step on it.
What?
I don't know.
Why you want to step on that though? Why
I
can't
don't
you sell that
know.
shit?
Money Man said it. Damn.
I mean, I know you're trying to make a profit,
Alright, shut
but
up.
I mean, he's selling people bad shit though. Like, how much is it stepped on? How much have you stepped on it?
Alright, so I'm ready. Let me go downstairs before she slap me up.
Oh, she does. I'm messing with you, baby. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Hey, budge.
What are you trying to
You
do?
play around them. Okay? We have our own love language. Leave us alone.
Okay. You guys are fucking weird. Poopy, mommy leaving.
Alright, you go. I'm gonna name Poopy.
Alright, baby, love you.
Alright, what's your name? The little one. You call me Poopy. I'm stop. I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you, baby. Love you, baby. Come here. I was trying to kiss your lips. We hold that shit for like 2 hours.
I got makeup on. Come
Come on. Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Ooh, that boy gassy. Ooh, I'm so excited. Ooh, I'm so icy. I'm so icy.